All right, everybody. We find ourselves here at the end of an epic Group B. In the bottom left side, we've got Classic. It is the GSL Group B, by the way. Dark in the top right side, fighting for his spot. Now, Classic, one of the most defensive players in this matchup. Bit of a weird gateway placement. So by building it back here, he's kind of building it behind the choke point. So you can see this kind of pokes out in front of it. So he's limiting the surface area. The only downside is it's just a little awkward if you're getting sieged to wall off. Because like if you build it further forward, you have enough space between the gateway and the pylon to squeeze another gateway in. But with this one, as we said, limit the surface area. So if they are trying to bust in here later, it's probably a little bit more of a durable wall off. Gives and takes to everything. Classic is super turtly, as I said, very defensive in this matchup. He used to do a lot of cannon rushes and timing attacks back in Heart of the Swarm and stuff, and Wings of Liberty. But in Legacy of the Void, and especially recently, I feel like Classic is the guy. He's got very good kind of 4-base Stalker Colossus timing attacks. Or he's just going to turtle until the late game and try to get up to Sky Toss and get a nice mix. I love that he was playing 4 or 5 robos or something like that. I think, was it 5? How many robos did he play in the I think it was 4 robo in PvT. A lot of Protoss players are, you know, struggling with the fall-off point of Zealot Stalker just not being as good anymore. And Classic was like, well, if I have 4 robos, I can just make more robo units way faster. That's actually awesome. Jeff in chat says Classic is a top Protoss. However, his killer instinct is dull knife tier. All right, we'll see how that holds up in this series. I don't know if I disagree with that or anything. He's definitely a player who's very cautious in how he plays this matchup especially. He's a very cautious player. And I understand, because that's kind of... I play PvZ, in a very defensive stance these days. Like, I've kind of emulated guys like Classic, and then I'm like, I'm going to pump expensive units, and then I'll add Psystorm, and then I'll get my double upgrades, and I'll take my 4th and my 5th, and I'll build cannons and batteries everywhere, and you know, it's only if the Zerg is really showing signs of being very greedy, very tech-oriented, that I actually get out and start attacking them. Otherwise, I'm kind of just trying to wait for the Zerg to make a move and saying, yep, I'll stop that. First Oracle is building right now. Stalker's going to go here. It looks like, yeah, this is the most conservative approach. Just rally the Oracle down to spot the high ground. Let your Stalker kill up the Overlord. It's not a bad way to play. 10 Lings building with Ling speed. So Dark's already looking to shut down the Adept. Maybe get us around on the Stalker if he's lucky as well. Alright, Zergling's coming in here. Stalker's going to get after the Overlord. Oh, Oracle's going to turn on its laser beam. If you can get rid of the Stalker, that'd be huge. Oh, Dark, he's going to get it. Classic gets the Overlord. No, 1 health. You're kidding me. The Stalker goes down, 1 health. The Overlord survives. Dark's got to be happy with this opening. Oh, Classic's got to feel a little bit cheated right now. His Oracles haven't been able to go across the map. His 3rd base gets cancelled. You're kidding me. This was like 12, was this 14 Zerglings? That's such a small commitment. 14 Zerglings. Dark gets the 3rd. If Dark doesn't win from here, I'll be damned. That's crazy. He's trying to get the Oracles to turn on their laser beams, so he's just trying to waste the energy there. Good moves by Dark. I mean, Dark is so used to winning ZVP when his opening sucks and he's way behind. And I have seen him throw a lot of ZVPs, just give advantages away, but I don't see him doing it here. I very much doubt it. I say a lot, I mean more than a guy like Cyril, who pretty much never throws an advantage away, but... Ooh, Classic going deep, and it's going to be very costly. He's got to get out of here. Does pull back, at least he wastes a tiny bit of mining time, gets some disruption going. Oh, Robo into Forge. Classic's playing very turtly, creator style. So creator style is where instead of going Blink, you just get out like Robo units. You probably go Charge after this, though who knows, he might still play Blink. But you're just super static. You don't have that early Blink, you're just like sentries, going for Immortals early, shield batteries, and trying to get into the game that way. 5 Adepts will take control of the Watchtower. He sees plenty of Zerglings, though, so 13 Zerglings might not be enough to easily kill 5 Adepts, but if he just has a few more that you haven't seen yet, of course it's going to be a bad day for the Protoss Adepts. Adepts are going to shade in. Not a good idea, I don't think. And you can see there, the Lings just get us around. At least he snap recalls it, saves all 5 Adepts. Well done. Looks like the Oracle's got 1 drone. That's the only drone that's gone down on Dark's side of the map. Dark has a 4th base coming up. And most importantly, every time I look at Dark, I'm like, oh, he's almost supply blocked. Oh, he's got 2 or 3 Overlords building. So he's actually playing very clean in terms of his macro. He's looking confident. He's on 65 workers, full 3 bases. He'll be rallying to his 4th soon. He's going mass roaches, +1 range. He doesn't need to start roach speed. He's going infestation. I think he thinks he started roach speed. There's no reason for him to not have roach speed in this scenario. I think he's going to play lurkers from there. Now, Stalkers are warping in, but remember, there's no Twilight Council until only now, and the Overseer sees this. So the Overseer's going to be like, hey, what the hell? Charge does come in. So super early Colossus, but just off single robo. Interesting. There is a changeling there. We'll see if Classic can realize that that's the case. Observer here hopefully does move away as that Overseer's about to finish. Still no roach speed. Still no roach speed. Dark. If he looks at his army at some point, he's going to have to realize Classic's about to go for a 4th base. Let's watch from Dark's camera. Because if he doesn't realize and goes for a big roach push, that would suck. But I think he's mostly going to be putting Hydras and Lurkers from here. He sees the 4th base of Classic. His Hive started. Hydra upgrade start. His Lurker Den goes down. Both gases on the 4th base. Pulls the Oracle, the drones away from the Oracle. Straight back to mining.
Mineral field depleted.
Those Lings and Roaches were running across the map. That was his main army control group. Queen takes out 2 drones. Or Oracle, sorry, takes out 2 drones. Still no roach speed, but you know what? He's going to get away with it, guys. He's only built 7 roaches. You might go mostly Hydra Lurker from here. But you definitely want the upgrade just so you have the flexibility, because roaches are very good at tanking against things like Colossus. Colossus into carriers? Okay, guys, there's drunk StarCraft, and there's whatever the hell Classic's doing right now. If he got pushed, how could he possibly defend? If he'd got hit by, like, maxed roach or something like that. He has nothing that does damage to roaches. Even the carriers wouldn't save him. I don't like this build for Classic. It's kind of good against Ling Hydra, I guess. But this is a bizarre transition into insanely fast carriers. If he gets away with it, it's going to be such a quick hybrid air-ground army. It's going to be really hard for Dark to deal with. Only thing missing is going to be the armor upgrades. No second forge, of course. You can't afford double forge at the same time. It's all only on 4 gateways, by the way. I like the way that he's threatening a push here, making it look like he's going to seriously push. And Dark's probably like, oh, you're coming? He's made lurkers. 5th base gases. I love that he's already mining the 5 base gas. That is huge. Nidus Worm on the way for Dark as well. This game started rough for Classic, remember? His 3rd base got cancelled. He lost an Oracle as well. He's only killed 3 drones this whole early game. But now he's got 4 bases, 8 gases, fully saturated. Storms on the way. I don't mind it. I think he could definitely play pretty well from here. I would say his army's a bit convoluted, though. Very easy to mess up your unit control with this because you got so many spellcasters, and you can tell everything's just jumbled on an all army or a 1 control group. And for me, the idea of having Oracles, Observers, High Templar, and Sentries all in 1 control group has got to be one of the most stressful things ever. I'm like, do we really have 5 different spellcasters on 1 control group? That's awkward. No cannons on the edge, which means that Overseer is going to get in the back to pop up Nidus Worm's 5th base attempt gets denied. I do like the second robo on the way for Classic. I don't like the placement. Units from that robo are going to have to go all the way around the left. Sees the carriers coming up. Nidus Worm does drop inside the main base. Classic has carriers, though, so I don't think he really struggles too hard with this. He's going up to 6 gateways and a 5th nexus in the bottom right side right now. He should send the carrier to deal with the Overseer. Seeing the early carriers might be a bit of a shock here for Dark. Ooh, okay. Big army pushing there. He's also got some Lings that are going to try and deny the right side. No melee upgrades on these Zerglings. They aren't the scariest unit. The double robo very exposed. He never sent the carrier to deal with the Overseer. Uh-oh. Abduct comes in, but there's nothing that shoots up in this army, guys. It's like 8 Hydras. Parasitic Bomb and 8 Hydras is not going to deal with 4 carriers. And it looks like he should be able to clean this up with just the air units. Back of the main base is definitely under threat. But the carriers will clean all of this up. Oracles as well going to turn on their lasers. In the main base, a single Hydralisk pops out, kills a probe, and forces Classic to respond. Only a few Hydras and Queens. Dark's kind of doing some random stuff right now. I mean, he canceled the 5th in the bottom right. He's running back in here with some Lurkers. But as long as Classic just sends the carrier to get rid of the Overseer, he's going to shut down the Nidus Worm attempts. As he gets back to the front, he's going to be good. I think Classic's completely fine here, but he does need to remember to continue air weapons. So he's just rebuilding his Cybercore now. He's thinking about trying to rebuild a wall off, but he'll need a new pylon if he wants to do that. He's going to build 2 gateways and then 2 pylons to create a semi. A wall with a bit of an awkward choke point, but better than nothing. Spires on the way, +3 range, +2 carapace. Ultra Cavern coming in, more Lurkers as well. Classic has 7 carriers with 2 more building. 4 High Templar are up. Prism's going to go to the right side. Classic's going to try and take a new 5th, this time on the gold base. It's only a single gas base, but oh, Prism gets caught by Hydras. Nice catch. Then again, good reaction by Classic. Actually reacts in time. He's rebuilding his robos in the back of his natural this time. Much safer than having those out the front. 10 carriers is a lot. That's a very big number of carriers. More than I'd normally be willing to go for. I do like that there's observers out as well. Oracles, giving him a bit of vision. Nidus Worm in the back of the natural. Does Classic see it? Doesn't look like it, guys. I do think if he had some cannons on the edge there, some cannons down here as well, he could cut these Nidus Worms from going up in the first place. He is going to react. Nothing inside the Nidus Worm. Dark kind of uses up the distraction for nothing. Well, Dark can't resist. He does decide to pop some Lurkers out, but plenty of time for Protoss to respond here. I don't see this doing that well. Carrier Storm is left on the front. He's going to send a single carrier to try and deal with these Lurkers. I mean, he'll get there eventually. Takes a little while, though. Oh, is he going to lose +2 ship weapons? Oh, no! Oh, no! He just lost +2 ship weapons. That was his new Cybercore. Oh, dude. That's actually a bummer. He's only got +1 ship weapons against +2 carapace. The Lurkers aren't running away. The Lurkers need to get out of here, man. Oh, we didn't get in the Nidus Worm. Oh, Dark really messing up there. He's going to lose like 8 Lurkers. Just thinking he'd probably click those on the Nidus Worm, but didn't get them in time. Melee upgrade as well as double air weapons are on the way for Dark. He's got the rich gas base in the top left, his own gold base mining. Dark's had the map for a long time. Units lost tab is 1,600 resources in Classic's favor. And it seems like Dark is playing Lurker, Corruptor, Hydra, Infestor, Viper. I mean, I think Ultras is fine. Guys, if he just plays Ultras, don't you think he could do well? He's only got a few Immortals. Like, Classic lost his Robos. There's only 3 Immortals. I don't know if this army really makes sense. Like, it's so complicated. He's making so many different units. And he's being annoying with them and finding little bits of damage, and he's slowing Classic down, but nonetheless, Classic is slowly adding upgrades. He's slowly building his army up. Classic has a bigger bank than Dark, despite being down in workers. I like the creep spread here. That's nice. Oracle's there, going to tag this. What are we using for anti? 12 Corruptors against 13 carriers? I feel like Dark should have a lot more Corruptors than this. Going with the Mass Interceptors, Fungal's trying to slow them down. The Fungals are okay at slowing down the Interceptors for a little bit. They don't really kill anything, though. A couple of these carriers will go down. Microbial Shrouds going onto the ground units. The High Templar on the right takes a big Lurker splash. The Corruptor's starting to fall now, though. There's just so many carriers and Interceptors. A few more carriers do get taken down. The Queens and the Corruptors actually doing nicely with the Transfusers. And that was a pretty bad fight for Classic, who's down 3,000 resources now in the unit's lost. He lost 7 carriers for 2 Corruptors in that fight. Oh, man. There's discount bin trades, and then there's people just giving you stuff for free. Dark just got the Omega discount bargain bin deal right there. Corruptors come in, get themselves another carrier. Meanwhile, the natural, he's been evicted from it. +2 ship weapons is finally on the way. Got +2 plasma shields coming in as well. Yeah, that was a great hold. The microbial shroud, just to make sure those lurkers couldn't really die. It was only a low amount of anti-air. The queens, corruptors, the microbial shrouds, it worked out. He got a few abducts to lower the carrier count initially as well. And the fact that we've got 2-2 on the way for those air units, very important for Dark. Classic had to do a bit of a pause there. Looks like they fixed a technical issue. Corruptors are moving left. He's looking for carriers popping. Killing these robos wouldn't be a bad idea. He's lost 4 robos this game, guys. I know it's kind of under the chat there, but 4 robos have gone down. Carrier's going to try and clean up the Nidus one, but of course the Corruptors are going to say, hey, that's a carrier. Any carrier is a good target for us. I like the recall. That's a good idea. Just recalls it to the right. And, uh-oh, he's going to have it. Cancel the carrier. Cancel the carrier. Mama popping out at the worst possible spot. Time warp's pretty nice for her. You can see how quick... Oh, 50% movement slow. And 50% attack speed slow as well. Ooh, good damage on those Corruptors. So good chase there by Classic, who's simply weathering the storm right now. The thing is, he's still got bases in the bottom right. He's still got money in the bank. Dark's doing really well. He's down 16 Lurkers, 18 Corruptors, 2 Infestors, 2 Vipers. I didn't know this could work at pro level, but people are doing this a lot more lately. Just Lurker, Corruptor, Viper. And just saying, hey, Lurkers are such a good siege unit. I'm just going to use them. Corruptors do Copper Storm to the face. Oh, he finds the carriers that are just popping out. Gets 1, gets 2. Oh, he gets a Tempest as well. Turns around, gets a Colossus. Yes, he does. Colossus goes down. Brilliant play by Dark. Denying the base on the right side at the same time. Classic is just losing trade after trade. That Oracle almost running in and dying as well. Blink never got made for the Stalkers. It is +2 attack on the ground. Warp Prism does get caught by the Spore Crawler. Yeah, I mean, Classic had a bad start, and he's been getting just toyed with ever since. Dark finally looks like he has an almost insurmountable lead. Wouldn't mind him just shoving that right side base right now, as Classic can barely even defend the natural. Banelings are going to roll in and try to smash this mineral line. No real juicy targets for them. So that's a guaranteed hugely negative trade for Dark. Right now, though, Dark is ahead 6,000 resources, so he can afford it. Oh, that stasis trap. He dodges it. Wow, gets a few probes, bit of cannon battery cleared. It's something. 3-3 on the way for Dark's air units. Meanwhile, he's got +3 melee, Neuroparasite. Protoss still stuck on +2 attack for ground, +2 shields, and 2-1 in the air. So just missing a lot of the upgrades for the long term and not really having the money to add those in right now. Oracles on carrier will deal with this in the main base. He should be getting rid of those changelings and the Overseer as well. Overseer is going to get pulled to the right side, and it does go down. Oracles still have their lasers on, but he does come back, turns those lasers off, kills 1 of the changelings, and 2, and 3, and 4. Three more carriers are on the way. Cancels them, builds 2 Tempests. Okay. So he's decided he needs Tempest to pick at Protoss from afar. Baneling's going to go for the clumped up cannon battery. Bit of an Artosis pylon does get taken out. And the Baneling's going to go after that very stacked mineral line. 15 workers go down. Lurker on the left side going to start to siege the gold base as well. Doing good damage to these probes as they're mining. Oh no! This is really bad. Really bad for Classic. The High Templar, braver than he looks, does decide to take on that Lurker and gets ripped in half for his gallantry. Big carrier counterattack on the other side of the map. Basically, it's all about defending this one big next push. 18 Corruptors against 7 carriers, 3 Tempests. I think seems like a pretty good idea for Dark. I think Dark's got his numbers correct. He's got plenty of Lurkers to defend the ground, 16 of those. He's got lots of Queens in here as well. Just needs to save some energy for those microbial shrouds, I would say. Does have a full energy infested to help out. 27 probes have gone down. Lings and Lurkers denying the last 2 mining bases of Classic. I guess he has some dregs on these other bases, but he's not really mining them effectively. Going to recall home right now to that bottom side. Try and take out this one. Does defend the gold base for now. No more upgrades for Classic. He's just focusing on acting as much army as he can. He's down to 35 probes. He's decided 10 carriers is where it's at. That's where we're going to make the magic happen. With only +2 attack on those, I very much doubt it. Of course, he's been under so much pressure. Thinking about upgrades, not really in the forefront of his mind. Just defending whatever little economy he has is more important to him right now. It's a higher priority. Dark all over this match. Starting off the final deciding match of Group B. And flying cars. Oh, no Overseer! No Overseer! We saw this exact same issue in his match against Stats. Oh, that's unfortunate. You gotta bring Overseers, mate. The mothership is actually very effective. That new, faster mothership. You gotta be careful, man. Probes getting taken out by Zerglings as well. 10 probes have gone down. Zerglings, he doesn't care about losing 11 more Corruptors. He's going to go 35 Corruptors. Now, is that too many? I don't know. I think 9 Lurkers might be a little light. Because those 9 Lurkers need to deal with 3 Immortals, 4 Archons, a Colossus, 10 High Templar, 2 Stalkers. I would rather have like just a little bit more insurance there. Maybe more for a few Broodlords. As his greatest buyer is now on the way. He's got 3-3 on that air already. Corruptor's looking around for any pickoffs, not finding anything just yet. How many Overseers has he got? 6. Okay, so he's made a whole bunch of Overseers. Most of them are just chilling at home. Ling's running the left side. Stasis Trap freezes some of them. Ling's on the right. Defends it with Storm. Kills a few of his own probes with the Psy Storm, though. Let's check that unit's lost tab. Still 4,000 resources in favor of Dark. Dark comes in. He's going to take out a carrier. Nice parasitic bomb. He gets 2 carriers. He could take out a unit here as well, maybe, but he does just back off. Wise choice. Lings run in. They're going to deny that left base. Classic has had enough. He knows this is a losing situation the longer he waits, so he's going to try and push forward. The Lurker Spore there looking pretty good, though. Corruptors also looking pretty nice. Zerglings over on that side as well. Tempests going to be trying to just chip away little by little. High Templar. It's going to open up that wall to the natural. The Lurkers need to move around and get there. Oh! The army accidentally pods in. Nice Neuroparasite, man. Nice Neuroparasite there. Dark just pulls that unit off on its own. Picks off the carrier one at a time. Main base is in jeopardy. 3-3 air weapons and armor is on the way. But you know what? The Lings might actually deny that. Corruptor Viper looking for pickoffs. Dark is looking for pickoffs right now. Is he able to abduct a few units before the big fight happens? The Lurkers are good enough on their own. Oh, good fungal. Is it enough to really achieve anything, though? Oh, feedback's coming down. Nice feedbacks there for Classic. Down here, Lings have denied +3 air attack. The air armor kicked in, but the air attack got denied. Classic's going to be fuming over that. Such an important upgrade. Dark has to be very careful, guys. The reason he's not rushing in is his Lurkers are a siege unit. If he runs over the Archon High Templar, all of his Corruptors get stormed. So he's got to kind of use the Lurkers to defend and try to find a way to pick at these High Templar before his Corruptor Viper gets a chance to fight. Oh, the feedbacks are so good. The feedbacks are so good in there, man. Very nicely done. All the Vipers having no energy. Classic's actually doing great damage. And I think Dark's wisely, it appears to be focusing more on winning a base trade. Because he can't really hunt this army down. He doesn't have the mobility for it. So be careful. That High Templar is there looking for that zoning Psy Storm. Oh, great Storm. Gets rid of the Viper with the feedback as well. So much High Templar energy. Classic might actually be able to make this comeback. He might be able to make this comeback. Storms! Storms all over the Corruptors! The Archons are on the right side. Those Archons need to be over here on the left defending the air. The Corruptors go for the dive. They're going to spread over the top. The carriers are all falling, but this is coming at a massive expense to Dark. I mean, it's massive, but it's even more massive for Classic, because that was Classic's last chance, that army. It goes down. There's still 2 Lurkers alive. He kind of bided his time, waited for the opportunity, and then he said, I think this is good enough. Let's go. And he does lose a lot of Corruptors, 39 in total this game, but he's killed 19 carriers, 8 Tempers, 3 Motherships, and that's a very good rate of trading. He's going to morph 17 Broodlords back here behind all this, guys, over on the left side, in fact. A little bit wild that he'd morph it right there. Just goes to show his bravery. Banelig's coming in to kill some of those probes. This base mining. There's still a base mining down here. Plenty of minerals up here in the top left as well. Classic is just trying to rebuild a Nexus and win the game with a few Archons, an Immortal, and a High Templar. The Broodlord first volley is going to activate the GG. Nicely done. Dark wins game 1. It all started with a good Ling run by, getting rid of the third. Classic going for a bizarre quick Colossus carrier build. I have not seen that one before. Very cool build order. Gets into an okay spot, but then Dark just picks him apart little by little. Amazing multi-prong for Dark. All right, guys, let's go into game 2. Dark picking him apart very nicely in game 1. I, as a Zerg, hate getting into the position that Dark was in that last game, but he did it excellently. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if he just tries to kill Classic this time around, because you don't want to have to fight that weird, like, Lings in 4 places, Lurkiniduses, Corruptors flying around in circles, Vipers dropping spells, Infestors trying to land spells. And there was a lot of just things Dark had to do, and managing a very complicated unit set and different situations to get the value that he got in that last game. Now, Classic comes in with a very conservative kind of late scout, doesn't block the expansion or anything like that. And interestingly, he goes 21 Cybercore. Not a bad way to play 21 Cybercore. I do normally still just do the old 20 myself. Am I blind? Where's the probe? Oh, there it is. Yes, it was hiding behind the minerals. I'm just hiding back there, sneaky. Little cheeky boy harassing 2 mineral patches at once. Dark's not responding to it. So it is actually severely impacting Dark's mining efficiency. And because Dark's not a detail-oriented player, he often doesn't pay attention and fix that. So you see he's now got 3 workers on this patch. He doesn't pull one of those off. They're going to stay like that probably for the entire game. Luckily, it is all the other patches are evened out, except this one, which is, of course, missing that 3rd worker. But it still just means 1 out of those 16 workers is mining at only about half efficiency. Adds up over time. Something that does mean probe harassment versus Dark can have bigger impacts than against someone like Serral. It's going to be a bit more focused on those little details and fixing and adjusting that. Solar, Serral, Lambo, the macro Zergs, they're going to shut that down. Stargate on the way right now. How would you describe Dark? A macro Zerg, an all-in Zerg? I'd describe him as a kill you Zerg. He does whatever he thinks will kill the opponent. And it fits in just about any range you want. But in this matchup especially, Queen walks, Queen drops, either with Lingbane, Nidus Worm, or Ravager Zergling. All very common moves that he likes to do. Now, this Adept here for Classic was looking for any Zerglings hiding on his side of the map. Didn't find anything. So he's going to go forwards. Looks like we've got a second gateway about to come down to complete the wall off. First Oracle will be popping out momentarily. He's just got to wait for 150 gas here, and there we go. Second Oracle starts up. Oh. Adept shades away. Shades away. Yes, it does. You're not going to get the cancel this time, Dark. Good choice to pull away. You could see Dark really wanted that snipe, but he realizes with an Oracle overhead, you're already doing damage by delaying that Oracle. You know, you're stopping him from harassing you. You're keeping yourself safe. And he's doing it again here, threatening. Now that there's 2 Adepts there, going to build another pylon at the front. Extra Adepts warping in. Good positioning by Classic as he does wedge them in a nice little corner. Queens are out front. As Oracle's going to dive past. Classic's a mad dog. Diving here is a little bit crazy, guys. Especially because you see there's a Queen on the high ground as well. So you take a lot of damage for those 2 drones. Interesting that Classic seems to almost always go past, whereas most players, they try to dance around a lot more with the Oracles, being very patient and waiting for those Queens to get out of position. Classic seems a bit more of a, I'm going to force this to happen. And do it kind of the same way every game, which is always dive past the first Queen you see. Robo Forge behind it, same transition. Meanwhile, Lair, Roachmore, and Evo Chamber for Dark. Standard play for Dark. Classic playing the same thing he did last game. Oh, Dark. Leaving those drones, not stacking them at all. Oh, this was real sloppy. He gets punished pretty hardcore there. Does he not have a Spore in the main? No, he does. Why was he pulling 4 queens into his main base? Big mistake for Dark. Cost him quite largely. I guess he wanted to kind of get the queens here and the queens here to stop the oracles from getting in and out, but 6 more drones go down. That's an 8 total. Very efficient for Classic. That being said, his days of diving mineral lines are completely done with those 2 oracles. If he dives them again, he will lose them. And if you lose your oracles, all that early work you've done is worth very little. Robo into Twilight Council on the way. He's up to 4 gateways as well. Not a bad way to play. I do still think this is very weak to a Roach Max. Just like in that last game. Maybe people disagree. Let me know in the comments. I feel like... What are you going to have to fight? A Sentry, a few Adepts, a few Oracles with some energy, but not enough to kill 20, like 40 Roaches. And then you're going to go for Carriers. I hate this build. I think Classic's build is... Maybe it's very good for him, and maybe it actually works very nicely. I just personally... I hate it for, like... I would never want to play this. Because it feels like you have to camp to 4 bases being fully saturated, and, like, you're never able to move out before 10 minutes. Which I just personally don't like. You get a bit of Oracle harass, a tiny bit of Adept harass, but I definitely prefer a more active PvZ style where you get that ground army moving around. But, of course, Classic, he's the win toss. He plays whatever he thinks has the highest chance of winning him the game. That's why he was famous for playing cannon rushes, macro, timing attacks, literally just doing a bit of everything across his career. And he feels like turtling with Protoss is the way to do it right now. So that's what he's going to be doing. Oracle comes in with the stasis trap. 2 drones get frozen. Oracle's going to pull back. Got 1 Colossus out, second one building. Look at that cheeky changeling hiding behind the Robo, guys. If you're on his vision, you don't actually get to see that gray bar above it. It's very hard to even notice that that's there. All you see is a little bit of his little side blade and legs sticking out. 10 Corruptors coming out as well. So this is cool, guys. Roachling Corruptor. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to rush Corruptors. They counter Colossus. They counter Carriers. He's absolutely right. I mean, the Overseer's seen that what's happening. If he goes Mass Roach Corruptor and just goes all in, it would be great. The problem is he's gone melee upgrade. And he hasn't made Roach speed again. So I think Dark, I guess, is playing Mass Air. He's on 8 gas. He's about to be on 10 gases. Okay, fair enough. I mean, Mass Air can definitely work. You do need Muters as well, though. You can't just play Corruptors. Classic's got a bunch of Stalkers that have come in. He's like, well, I need something that shoots up. Let's just warp it around a Stalkers. That's the advantage of having 6 gateways. Does Sniper Corruptor. More drones coming in for Dark. Dark's going 90 drones, 7 bases, and he's taking even more gas? So Dark's plan is to build 30 Mutalisks, because I kid you not, guys. He's just going to build 30 Muters to go with his 10, 12 Corruptors, and he's just going to fly in and start trying to wear Classic down. And I mean, I normally like this plan. The thing is, look at Classic's supply. He's actually so greedy. He might just be okay. No ship weapons upgrade, though. Don't like that. Only now. There we go. He starts it. Could have been starting that a while ago, though. Corruptor's going to fly in. Sees where the army is. Overlord's flying around as well. Looks like those have been misrallied. He's got an Overseer. Could take out the Observer. That'd be very nice for Dark. Oh, he's not watching. He lets the Observer survive. There we go. He realizes and does turn around. Well worth killing that Observer. Tries to hide the Mutalisks as well. Don't know if he was successful. I don't think he was. Oh, he rallied the Muters into range. Because look, now there's Phoenix building. Phoenix, Anion, Pulse Crystals. That's the +2 range for them as well. Muters come in. Haven't really found any damage just yet. Only 2 probes. Gonna try and fly into that main base. We'll find a couple of workers here. Same time, Corruptors and Muters coming into the natural. Mass cannon going up there. Oh, man. Dude, Classic turtling like a beast right now. I think a crisp 3-base Corruptor Roach timing is basically unbeatable with Classic style. Where you just get like 12 Corruptors and then nothing but Mass Roach. But I think going to 87 workers, Classic, as long as he just fights with his static D, he's got some charge lots and Archon mixed in, some Stalkers. I think he can be okay here. Oh, battery overcharge goes down. One carrier falls, an oracle falls, a phoenix falls. Still got 2 oracles in the mix. Evo chamber on the way, a second one, as well as infestation pit and Bailey nest. I think Dark's realizing this game's going so long, he probably needs to play Ultralisks. 85 workers for Dark, 73 for Classic. +2 flyer attack on the way for Dark. Classic's +1 air attack is about to finish. Ooh, okay, Mutacorruptor flying around. The Mutacorruptor though, it's hitting that point in the game where I think he let Classic get away with way too much greed. I actually feel like Classic's build order is incredibly vulnerable, and there's no way that this works against like a rogue. I mean, that being said, I'd love to see him try it. That's my feeling right now. 2 cannons go down. 3 cannons. Dark has a way of finding good engagements where most Zergs wouldn't be able to. Phoenix starting to rain down a bit of damage on him. Look at that. Grabs a Phoenix. Anytime those Phoenix are on their own, the Corruptors and the Mutas can do pretty well against them. Corruptors can fight the Phoenix. Mutas should just go after those probes right now. Corruptors trying to fight. Another Phoenix goes down. Another Phoenix goes down. All the probes in the main are gone. He's got to get out of here before the carriers get back. He does depower 2 of those Stargates, though. He's going to dive on the carriers. He realizes the Archons are out of position. He says, let's do it. Let's just jump on top. Battery's really helping out, as are the Archons, though. And the Phoenix just butchered the Mutalisks there. They absolutely butchered the Mutalisks. How many Mutas did he lose, guys? 25? Yeah, 26. I'm kind of impressed with myself, guys. I didn't know the exact number, but I guess I saw how many he built. I don't know. Subconscious calculations for the win. I feel like a bit of a wizard, okay? Maybe I should head up the casino when I'm done casting today. Corruptors are fighting the Phoenix. There's too many Phoenix, though. They're going to win that fight now. Only +1 air weapons right now. Classic's going across with Mass. The Zealot Archon. He's got Stalker, Ravagerling, Bane coming in. No Ultras here yet for Dark. I think some Ultras would really help out. Oh, the force fields! A single sentry blocks off the entire army of Banelings. That was 1 sentry. That 1 sentry blocked the entire right side of Massling Bane. And that is absolutely what allowed him to do as well as he did in this fight. Classic is still so close to getting overwhelmed, though. Still so close to getting overwhelmed. The Phoenix picking up these units, though, is so helpful. Remember, Dark doesn't have any money. His Roach is getting picked off as they spot. Remember, no Roach speed. He never made Roach speed 2 games in a row. He doesn't have Roach speed. Oh, he's just going to try and make Ravages with it. This is why you make Roach speed, though. But he's like, nah, it's fine. I'm just going to make 30 Ravages. Oh, I think if he had Chitinous Plating, Ultras would have been god tier here, but you could tell he was so focused on the Mutacorruptor that Dark was not super duper focused on his tech back at home. 9 drones on one of his bases go down. He's still on 5 bases. Classic's 5th has just come up. I would love some Lings to go across for a counterattack and clear that Nexus. Don't know about running into these bases. There's shield batteries everywhere. +2 ship weapons finally starting for Classic, and not a moment too soon. Now the Phoenix are going to be a big problem. There's 1 Viper out and 2 Corruptors. Look at that. He can just pick off these Ravages for days. Pick off Corruptors, pick off Ravages. Oh, man. Did he bile his own Ravager there? I think he did. Phoenix doing pretty well. He's going to pick up, drop. And look at that. Just fighting the Phoenix versus the Corruptor. The Corruptors need to stop flying in. He needs to get a Parasitic Bomb on these Phoenix. Dark needs to be using the Spellcasters. The Phoenix causing him a massive trouble right now. I do like that he's quick to bile whenever he gets picked up. But Classic's been on point with dodging him. The Ravager's getting ripped apart. Where is that Viper, guys? Viper's just chilling on the left side. Dark not using control groups properly. And look at that. Ravager's getting wrecked. The Phoenix have used most of their pickups. But what amazing value he's got so far in this game. Another couple Ravagers get picked off. Corruptors hanging out in small numbers. Not going to be doing too well for them. Classic's 4th base is now mining. You can see the 3rd base could transfer workers from there, and the 4th to get that one up. Lots of cannon battery building. It's going to go to 8. Carriers is Classic. He's already got a lot of Archons. No Psystorm this game. It's just pure Archon Zealot Carrier. This is a pushing Protoss' army. This is I am just going to shove across the map and get some. Yeah, I do feel if that fight didn't go so good with those sentries on the right, I think this is a very different game. As it is, Dark still being able to remax on 5 base. Going to retake the 6th on the left. Got a few ultras coming in, so he's going to have 5 ultras. 10 corruptors. 10 corruptors is not enough. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is Dark's whole problem right now, is that he only has 10 corruptors. And he's still building Ling Ultra, which I'm absolutely shocked by. He needs to go for a big counterattack with this Ling Bane and use the supply that he frees up to build more corruptors. Because he's barely got enough corruptors to fight the Phoenix, let alone the 8 carriers. Add some Archon Splash in the mix. And this is pretty tough, man. Already losing a corruptor. Parasitic Bomb does go down on those Phoenix. He does start taking him out, but man, he just doesn't have enough anti-air. His ground army doesn't look that scary either. Ultras can tank a fair bit of damage at least. The Ultras are clearing that ground army very effectively. And he does get rid of almost everything on the ground, but it looks like the last Ultras go down. Biles! Almost taking out a couple of the carriers, but look at that. The Interceptors are out on top. Ling Bane on the other side of the map goes in, clears out the 4th basic classic. He's going to roll into the 3rd as well. Nice recall! Oh, that was a very slick recall right there. Somehow Adrenal Glands didn't get made in this game, by the way. That is actually quite big. And because of that, the charge, the battery overcharge, and the Colossus will be able to hang on at home. Classic is going to tie up the series. And I just got to say, I don't know, Reginald the Sentry, whatever the hell his name was, but that was clutch. It was one, right? Yeah, it's just one full energy Sentry here. And just at the last second, he blocks it, and so many of those Banelings go down before they get through. Maybe 7 or 8 Banelings connect with the army. Beautiful MVP Sentry. Well done, Reginald. Well done. It only says you have 4 kills here. You have a lot more in spirit, buddy. GG's. All right. The final game to decide this. Dark in the bottom right, Classic in the top left. Is Classic going to do the exact same thing again? I would love if he had some sort of weird timing attack that he does instead. That would be really cool. Chat saying, what would Cyril do to kill this? Someone saying, I reckon he would scout it and just do a taxi with Roach Ravager. Queen taxi with Roach Ravager. I think that's a decent suggestion from Tateibson. I think it could do okay. So this is a pylon scout into gate gas, guys. Too late to block the hatchery, though. Oh, Classic. If you want to block the hatchery, you need to go for a 13 pylon, which Classic did not do on this map. A little sloppy. Has any pro player ever used the exact same strategy or build 2 games in a row and won both of them? Many times. Usually there's slight variations, but I think in the early days of StarCraft, especially when people hadn't figured things out, I think there was a lot of that. In the very early days, when a game's getting figured out, people will be like, hey, I have this OP build. And they'll just use it over and over. I mean, think of like Parting even in 2012, just using his Immortal Sentry all in every single game off 2 base. The Soul Train, the 1-1-1 build, people called it, as in, because it won him a lot of Korean 1. Which was probably the dumbest nickname for it. I think Soul Train was a much better build. Of course, Parting being Korean and living in Seoul. The build didn't really have a lot of soul if you think about it. It's about as generic of a build as you could think of, just micro to perfection. There was also that GSL when Maru kept dying to Rogue's Roaches. Oh my gosh. Roads. The number of times Maru has died to Rogue's Roaches while just not adapting at all is insane. Like, Maru would always basically just make hard reads on Rogue where he'd be like, nah, I think you're doing this, not that. So I'm going to play completely risky against the thing I think you're not doing. And if you do it, it's a free win. And you're like, oh, Maru, please stop throwing. Maru Rogue was kind of painful to watch because it should have been on paper the best match ever because they were always teammates on Jin Air Green Wings back in the day. We're always practicing together. When they played, it just looked like 2 guys doing really, really nerdy, dorky, interpretive dance. You know, they're like, well, you know my builds, so I can't do my best possible play. Instead, I'm going to make something up. And it was always like the most suboptimal, bizarre execution you'd ever seen. And you're like, why do you guys both make the other player play at 50% below their normal skill level? Just because I felt like they mind gamed themselves when they were playing against each other way too much. Where Rogue would die to really dumb execution mistakes, like he just would forget to make Banelings. And he'd be like, oh, there's 50 Marines here. I only have Zerglings. And he just dies. And you're like, what are you doing? And then there's so many games where Rogue would just do 1-1 Roach. Wouldn't even hide it that well. And Maru would just move out with his whole army, get jumped on by roaches and killed. And you're like, why are you moving out? You even already saw the roaches. So it's kind of funny, the mind games that happen in StarCraft, but it's such a flexible game with so much range. Everyone who's played at a competitive level has experienced someone just getting in their head and they're like, I know what I should do in the game. And then you play it and you look at the replay and you're like, what was I thinking? Like, you just get a bit discombobulated or your confidence goes down and you stop executing on the basics. You stop following through on what you should be doing and you start playing Pigstarcraft. I don't think we're at that point in this series. Third base, 2 oracles, third on the way, third and fourth gas. This looks pretty crisp for Classic, I gotta say. Looks like he's just doing what he does best. Lair starting. That's a quick lair. Quick lair, second gas. Dark may be considering a delayed Chadray Annihilator build. Or a quick Hydroden. Quick Spire, I guess, is technically an option as well. He figures, hey, that last game opened up okay. I just didn't follow it up. Oh, no! For some reason, Dark had 8 drones following an Overlord. Not quite sure what happened there, guys. Hopefully that was only for a few seconds. One can only hope. Thank you very much, a little wing. Thank you for this gifted sub, mate. Rotoran's on the way as well as the lair. We've got a third gas coming in, a fourth gas. The Zerg. For Protoss, though, Robo, Twilight, Extra Gates. This is a different build. He just cancelled something. What did he just cancel? What was that he was building in the natural, guys? Was that the Robo? Oh my god, he's doing a blink all in. His Robo got scouted. He cancelled it. And now he's doing a big blink push. Oh, Classic is doing a naughty boy build. No attack upgrades, no forge. He's building a Phoenix to deny scouting. He's doing Oracle harassment, and he's looking to try and eliminate Dark from the tournament with just a straight up 3-base blink push and get a Dark's rushing Spire. Dark is rushing Spire. Not great against blink. If he makes Roach speed, at least he can make Roaches to defend. We know Dark has not made Roach speed once in this entire series. He's got to make... Oh, this Oracle harassment's good. Because this is going to make Dark feel like he needs to drone up even harder. When what he really needs to do is stop at 66 workers and make nothing but Roaches and Zerglings. Now, let's see how good Dark's scouting is. See if he can get wind of this. Cyril always tells me that basically if you just scout, if they don't take gases on their third, then you just should never drone past 66 workers. You can start a 4th base, but you don't drone it. And there we go. Dark scouts no gas, so he should know. Just build nothing but army right now. Great scouting for Dark. 1 Oracle goes down. Queen's there defending very nicely. Did the Spire get scouted, is my question. Yes, it did. He scouted the Spire. He's already building a forward gateway, so it's going to be 8 gateways warping in on the front and trying to attack from there. Oracles with Revelation will be used to clear the creep as well. That's already 14 Blink Stalkers coming across the map. Dark is a beast. I think he can realize what's happening. He still sees no gas in the 3rd base. Dark has to realize something's up. He's going to see a big pack of Stalkers there. And Dark, he did build a few more drones, but not too many. He's building Roaches, Ravagers, Roach speed, +1 melee, and Baneling speed. He's realizing I cannot use this Spire in this game. I need to just survive. Second Evo Chamber. I don't know about the second Evo Chamber or the Infestation Pit, to be fair. Dark needs to make more units more than anything. He is behind in terms of the abilities of these units. Blinkstalk is much more powerful than just a few Roaches, Ravagers, and Zerglings. That being said, his army supply is okay. He has stopped at the correct work account. 5 Overlords being built right now to unsupply block him. Gotta watch out for that stasis trap on the left side. Why is there so few units here, guys? All of his lings are sitting at home. Dark, what are we doing? Dark accidentally left all of his lings at home. He does clean up something on the south side. I'm not sure what that was. Hatchery goes down on the north. He's got to be careful getting these Roaches and Ravagers out of here. Classic may blink on him. Barely survives with that Ravager. Massling is coming in behind. We've got a Hive coming up. That quick Spire, of course, giving no boost to Dark in this game. That being said, Classic hasn't built a 4th base yet. Classic has not built a Robo, a 4th charge, or a Forge. So all you need to do is survive right now as Dark. You don't need to overcomplicate things. You just need to hang on. Ravager does get sniped, as do a couple of Queens. Massling run by. That's not a bad way to do it. Forge is finally on the way. He's going to try and come in to cancel the 4th while running into the 3rd. Great choices. Mass Stalker on the front may be instigated to push in. as a result of this. Fourth base attempt gets denied as the probe goes down. The Ravagers could get blinked on. Oh no, Dark leaving his Ravagers in the open. He does land some big biles. A lot of Lings are coming out. Is it enough though? Classic with the decisive blink forward is just going to try and take him out. He wants to eliminate Dark right here, right now. Dark sending so many of his Zerglings across the map. An unnecessarily risky move against a player who was completely all in on mass blink, and it costs him big time. That being said, he does get us around. The Stalkers are starting to fall. That Oracle getting a lot of kills. Stalkers taking a few big biles to the face. But where is Dark's army? He's got 28 Zerglings and 2 Ravagers. It looks like 18 probes did go down on the third. Classic, though, is just going to pull workers from his main, transfer them down. Dark's third base is in massive doo-doo. It's getting overrun right now. Brewling's trying to come out and nibble at these Stalkers, but the Stalker's going to take out this base. He's going to put it back to 3 base first. 3 base. Dark on 48 workers. Classic on 45. Dark has the advantage of a +1 melee. He will get 150 minerals and 150 gas refunded there. As that Evo chamber does go down, you do not need to cancel upgrades. You will always get that money back. 4 infestors are on the way right now. Not a bad move for Dark. If you can trap those infestors with fungal bile, massive gains will be there to be had. He's got no queens, though. He's got no queens. The Oracle gets 3 drones, forces those drones to run away momentarily. He's got to transfer workers down. I'd like to see Dark maybe pull the 3rd worker off each gas, as it's all going to be about Ling count in this game. What he needs is a new 4th hatchery. He needs a lot of Zerglings, and he needs to find a way to make that magic happen. 2nd Stargate on the way for Classic. If anyone can explain that to me, let me know. Is that because he's afraid of Mutalisks? I think he's afraid of losing to Mutas in a base trade, and he wants the ability to build Phoenix. It's an odd choice in this low economy game, but I think he's just thinking, hey, how could I lose this game? How could things go terribly wrong? I did massive damage. I rebuilt my probes a bit. Let's start to play it a little bit safer now that I've got the big advantage. Things coming in for a bit of a wraparound. Stalkers can always pull into that choke point, potentially. He does blink to the right side. Nicely done. Dark losing a lot of Zerglings. Remember, Dark's only on 3 hatcheries, guys. Oh, he's also getting trapped. Look at that. Zergling's getting trapped by Stalkers in the top right. I mean, he should be able to run past with some of them, but he's got to run past right now. Stalker's going to pick off so many of these Lings on the way back. My gosh. He tries to fungal, and he does kind of fungal some of these Stalkers, but the Oracles are doing big damage. Already does take down one of the Infestors. The Oracle. This Oracle on 14 kills. Can it get rid of that Infestor that's high on energy? Yes, it can! And it pops the full... Oh, the high energy Infestor. A massive victory. Classic is thinking about a 4th base. He's going charge. He's building 2 Stargate Oracle? No. Classic with a genius transition. He's like, you know what? This game is low economy. You're on heavy Zerglings. I'm just going to make a ton of Oracles. There's no way you're going to have an answer to that. What a bizarre choice. Who thinks to do this in this scenario? Apparently, Classic had this planned out. Does get a kill on the 4th base, though. Nice move there for Dark. He's got Adrenal and +2 melee. So his Zerglings are pretty good at fighting. He's got a ton of Ravagers as well. Starting +1 range and Burrow. Dark, are you drunk, mate? Start a 4th hatchery. He's making a Baneling nest? Okay, Dark's just doing dumb things now. I know he's in a bad position. I don't want to be too harsh to him, but I just can't. Okay, he does start a 4th, but he's got to, if he wants to play all those tech and upgrades for the long term, he needs to drone up right now. He needs to drone up and get more hatcheries. Going for these upgrades, it's not going to pay off for several minutes, by which point Classic's going to be on 70 probes. He's going to have extra upgrades, charge, his forge is going, and as Dark, now he starts droning, but he's a little bit slow to start doing that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. 8 Oracles coming in. Oh, no. A single fungal and a Spore Crawler ain't going to cut it, man. The Oracles could even just fight the Spore if they choose to. Another fungal does come down. Actually does a fair bit of damage. He kills another queen that was trying to come over to help. He's just going to click on the Spore Crawler in the natural. Look at how fast that dies. Can't even take out one of those Oracles. Ling's desperately trying to counterattack, but there's a cannon in the mineral line able to defend. Oracle's killing 16 workers already. This is going to force Dark's hand. Dark has to go all in. He's trying to build a Viper to deal with the Oracles, but he's losing the last little bits of his economy. The scraps are just getting cleaned up, and Classic, he's got a mass Stalker Zealot army. This 4th base of his is a little vulnerable, but if you catch all these Ravagers, even if you lose the Nexus, I don't think that's too bad. He could even blink on this. Classic has a big 20 army supply advantage. He's still got some Oracle energy as well. Stalkers do get hit by Bile, but only a single one goes down. The Oracle's going to turn on those lasers, and the Ravagers are just getting absolutely blitzed. Blink. Ooh, Stalkers are eating big Biles. But look at that. Whenever he blinks forward, the Ravagers get ripped to shreds. Lings run into the natural and the third at the same time. Plenty of units on the third. They do burrow. No detection there right now. He's going to need to send the Oracles back to help defend that. Battery overcharge will go down in the natural at the same time, though. The Ravagers are getting hunted down. Those are Dark's units that had a chance of getting him back in this game. Stalkers and Zealots will move back into the natural in the main as well. Dark is playing a nifty style, unburrowing on the third as Classic sends his whole army into the main. Classic with a big mistake there, moving his whole army away. But does it even matter? Even though Classic, you know, he's taking big losses, Dark's being tricky. Tricksy hobbitses. Stealing our nexuses. How precious. Yeah, Classic's just got a giant double the army supply. Neither player has much income. Dark has a little bit more. A few mineral patches. But it's not going to be enough. There's no way. I mean, what a huge play for Classic, though. And I was like, dude, surely you're not going to play the same strategy 3 games in a row. Classic made it look like the same strategy the moment it was scouted. He just completely flipped gears into that blink all in, and he did it so very well. Dark is going to pop up double fungal to kill 4 probes, and then GG out of the game, I think. The Infestor's like that's all he could do. You could pop up, kill the a few stacked up probes. That's about it. Oh no, the Viper's going to kill the Phoenix. Oh, okay, the Phoenix barely doesn't kill the Viper. Lings come in. He did fungal them once. Do the second fungal. Second fungal! He gets them! And 3 probes go down. Chad Gamer moves from Dark right to the bitter end. Classic's economy absolutely sucks. So, of course, Dark's trying to rebuild a Roach Ravager army that can eventually defend the push. That's 22 Zealots, 5 Archons, 26 Stalkers. He has 14 Roaches. And remember, the Protoss units whack a lot harder than those Zerg units do. Even though there is +3 melee on the Zerglings and they have Adrenal Glands, the problem is Zerglings get wrecked by Archons. And look at the size of this army. So many Oracles overhead. Dude, what a beautiful play here for Classic. Parasitic Bomb goes down, but he just spreads his Oracles out, starts annihilating the Queens. The Roaches and the Ravagers are trying to pull back, but they are just outgunned and outmanned. Wolof at home being defended by an Oracle, a Zealot, and a Stasis Trap. The drones, the refugees running to the left side of this map, and the Zealots and the Archons will hunt them down. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for Dark in this series. You know, I think he was decent enough in his initial response, but he just wasn't comfortable sitting there and defending against that Stalker attack. Sending 50 to 60 Zerglings across the map. Classic wisely blinked on his Ravagers, and that was just a huge mistake. If Dark had just squeezed out a few Infestors and just defended 3 base against 3 base or whatever, he would have been A-okay. And actually, he was 4 base against 3 base, so he was in a great position, but deciding to move out the way he did with so many Zerglings and leaving his Ravagers unsupported, that was the big misplay for Dark in this game, where even though he had early initial scouting, that ended up costing him. And I just got to say, it's scary to make that decision, but Classic made that decision very, very well. He made the decision to just dive in. It was at this moment at about 7.5 minutes where it's like, okay, he did lose his 4th hatchery, actually, but that's not the end of the world. Even up here, this was so risky because his Zerglings were all being left behind. But I'll just show you that moment. How many Lings does he send across, guys? That's a lot. That is a lot of Zerglings. I don't know how to count on this screen because I can't really... I can tab through, but I'm not used to this overlay. What is it, 12? So that's 24, 48... That's 52 Zerglings. Yeah, he sent 52 Lings. He basically sent every Zergling across the map. And that's a big chunk of his army. And he's also going Hive and double upgrades and rebuilding his 4th against a 3-base all-in. Now you might be like, but Pig, it's not a 3-base all-in. He has a Nexus. He's just started his Nexus. He's just started his Forge. He doesn't have a Robo. This is 100% committed for Classic. He needs more damage. And Dark, by sending so much army across the map, gives him that opportunity. And that's what costs him. This move here, if you've got your whole army here, this is a good fighting position. But as it was, I would have liked to see Dark more clumped up, biling, running, biling, running, biling, running. The moment he spread out in a battle line, Classic was like, oh, I can just jump on that. And if there was a lot of Lings coming in, he'd get punished for this blink forward. But you can see our Classic's army is just so much bigger because Dark spent so many Zerglings the other side. And they do a lot of damage. But at the end of the day, it costs him that all the Ravages, the the third base. It costs him, you know, so much of his setup. And he doesn't kill the third of Classic either. So this ends up a big win for Classic and really puts him in a massive advantage. Look at how many Overlords he kills as well. Like, he gets rid of the upgrades, the tech. There's so many different structures he kills. GG, well played to Classic. Really impressive. It's unfortunate to have Dark falling out in Season 1. But Classic, the Protoss Hope, playing some really interesting styles. I love to see it. GG, well played.